Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have some beautiful butterfly card designs that I want to share with you. And I have two different ways that you can create them. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different butterfly card ideas that I want to share with you. Now, these particular butterfly card designs were created with a brand new bundle of products. So the bundle is called Beautiful Butterflies, and it includes a stamp set and a coordinating die set. So we're actually going to use this very large die to create the butterfly card design. And we're going to use this die in two different ways. Okay, so the first way that we are going to use this fancy little die is we are going to create sort of a fun fold card. So it has this butterfly design as the fun fold section of the card. So the card is just a little bit smaller than maybe your standard card. So it's about 3.5 inches wide, and then it's 5.5 inches long. So it's just a little shorter. So let me show you how I created this card. So the first thing you need to do is just cut a piece of cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and then just score down the 8.5 inch side at 4.25 inches. So I recommend not folding on the score line, just leave your paper flat like this. And then you're going to take that die. So this is the butterfly die. And basically there are a couple of little notches right up at the top part of this die. There's two little lines right at the top. So those we're going to line up on that score line. So we're actually going to put it just above the score line. And then we're going to add our top plate, and we will send this through the embossing machine. Okay, so now that we have run this through the embossing machine, we can take off our die, and it cuts the butterfly right into the front of the card. But you do have to cut off the little edges here. So you just take your scissors and follow along the score line and just cut off these edges. So now we have this butterfly fun fold card. But what I'm going to do is just cut down the bottom of this just a little bit so that the bottom of the card base matches the size of the butterfly. Now you can certainly leave this as is if you want, but I wanted to sync up the bottom of my card base with this butterfly. So basically I'm going to cut this down to 3.5. So just by cutting that down, that way then this card matches up. The front flap matches the bottom of the card base. So now we are ready to decorate it. So for this particular card, I'm using the very large butterfly image from the Beautiful Butterfly stamp set. So I've stamped that using early espresso ink. You can use black ink if you prefer. And I'm just going to use some watercolor pencils to add color to this butterfly. I'll show you a very simple way to add color. So the first thing I did is I just colored in all the areas with this Daffodil Delight watercolor pencil. So you just kind of go around, and you don't have to be perfect with this. You can just add color in each of the areas where you want the yellow. So I'm just going to be adding this basically all throughout this little butterfly here, except for the end pieces I'm going to leave white. So we'll just add this. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to use a blender pen just to spread this color around. So that's why you don't have to be perfect with your coloring. You can just get some color in each of these areas, and then we'll spread it around. All right, so now that we have the yellow added, I'm going to take some pumpkin pie, and we're going to add some pumpkin pie right around kind of the base here, the body of the butterfly. So we're just going to add it just like that. Then I'll add it to some of these pieces down here. And we'll add a little bit here And so this is going to give this butterfly just a really nice blended look. Although it looks choppy now, it won't look like that for long. So that's the basic design. And then you're going to take a blender pen. And the blender pen is already pre-filled with a solution. And you're just going to basically go along and just soften these lines. So you start with the dark color. You start here with the orange or the pumpkin and pull it towards the yellow. And then it just really blends it nicely and gives you this really fun look with the coloring. So we're just going to pull this orange into the yellow all the way around. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, so that's what our butterfly looks like. And so you can see the majority of it is yellow, but it has this really nice orange kind of streaky look through it. So I just think it was a fun and simple way to add color to the butterfly. All right, so here is our butterfly. We'll just take it out of the die. I ran this through the embossing machine just to cut out this little butterfly that we colored. And this is gonna go on our card front. I'm just gonna open this up so you can see it. But I don't want this part of the butterfly, I don't want the body of this butterfly to be on here because it kind of takes away from this butterfly because you have two sets of antenna there. So basically what I did is I just used a scissors and just cut this part off, cut the bottom off, and then I went inside here and just cut off this top part here. So you can just put your scissors in there, just kind of curve it around and cut that off. And so that will just give this a much cleaner look. I think it just looks a lot better that way. All right, so what we're gonna do next is just add a little bit of ribbon. So I am using this gold open weave trim. And basically I just want a little bit across the center here. Okay, so we're gonna add this little bit of ribbon here on the bottom. So I've added some dimensionals to the back of this butterfly, and we are just going to add this right over the top. And that will hold that little ribbon in place. And then you can trim down the edges of the ribbon if you wanna trim that down. And then on the inside, we are going to add some pattern paper. So I have a 2 3/4 by 5.5 inch piece of just the beautiful Bokeh Designer Series paper. And then I have a 3 by 5.5 inch piece of early espresso cardstock. So we are just going to adhere these pieces together. And then we're just gonna adhere this right to the inside of the card. So we're just gonna go right in the middle. And then that is the basic design for the card. And then here is the finished card. So I just added a little greeting and some gems. You can stamp something on the inside or you can leave it blank for writing a message. So it's a really fun and simple way to create just a unique little butterfly card. Now, the second way that you can use this die is to create an actual butterfly shaped card. So this card, again, is a little smaller than maybe what you're used to. It's about 4.5 inches long and about 3.5 inches in width here. And so I will show you how to use the die to create a card that is in the shape of a butterfly. And so for this card design, what you're going to do is use the same size cardstock as the last one. So this is a 5.5 by 8.5. It's scored in the middle at 4.25 inches. And that creates just a regular card base. And now what you're going to do is take this die and you're going to line it up so that those little notches are just above the fold line. So this time we're folding the card base and we're going to cut through both parts of the card base at the same time. All right, so once you run this through your embossing machine, then you can take the die off and remove this paper. And then you have a little butterfly card. So now that we have created the butterfly card, we are ready to decorate it. And much like the last card, basically what I did is I just cut off this part of the body on the card, simply because I'm going to be adding the same butterfly that I added on the last card. So you just want to cut this off. And then you can go ahead and add the butterfly along with the ribbon. And so I'll show you what the finished card looks like. So it's the same design as the last one. I just added that little bit of ribbon under there, my greeting on the front, some embellishments. And then on the inside, I just die cut out a piece of patterned paper and put that on the inside so you can stamp or write a message there as well. And of course, you can decorate these butterfly cards in a variety of different ways. So the first two cards I shared with you just featured the use of the colored pencils and doing some stamping and coloring. But these particular cards are just all layers. So I used a variety of different die cuts from the Beautiful Butterflies bundle, and I just layered the die cuts on the front of the card and did a little stamping. And then on the inside, I added some more die cut pieces. And for this particular card, you don't have to cut off that body because you're just adding die cut butterflies around it. So I left the body on that card. And same thing here, just layered some different die cut pieces together and added my greeting. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways that you can create a butterfly card design using the Beautiful Butterflies bundle from Stampin' Up. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.